Papà!
I nostri valori sempre con noi. Fratelli La Bufala.
Franchising is a key mode of entries on international market nowadays in many industries spanning from service to product. So we have invited today Sandro Abbey, who's vice president of the company who owns several brands within the franchising industry. The most known is Fratelli La Bufala, which is a network of restaurants who's exploiting the Italianity and the pizza format. It's very recognizable since they've tried to emphasize some feature that we will learn later on from Sandro. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And we are glad to know more about your company. But first of all, since we are inviting you for a coffee, which type of coffee would you like? We have mixed blended from Kenya. It's a flavor coffee, or single coffee from Nicaragua. Which one do you prefer?
I will take the mix.
Let's take the 2 cups. Okay, this is yours. So I must go for the other one, so we have 2 opportunities.
I have to compare with the Napolitan coffee.
Sure, but I'm sure you will be disappointed. How did you come across the franchising format? Could you tell us something on your background?
Yes. Well, it's quite a peculiar story, and it's a quite long story. I will make it short, but it was by chance. I went to study in the States, University of California in Berkeley. I was, let's say, a brilliant engineer, and I had a family construction company. So I went there just to learn how to manage my company, but opened my mind, this experience. By chance, I met a unique guy, a Indian guy, and this guy was studying with me, and also him, by chance, met Steve Jobs at the beginning of the Apple computer. And instead of developing his capability in the engineering world environment, because he was supposed to study Arctic engineering, he started to develop a service center where he was offering to the students services with the Apple Macintosh at the very beginning. And this was a boom. He became a multimillionaire in a very short time. I was back in Italy. And then when I realized that he has done such an incredible career, I was attracted by this, and I flew back to him, and I started to develop with him using the franchising model. This was the end of the 80s, so it was very beginning of franchising in the Italian market. And I started to develop my very first network in franchising. It was called Microprint, and it was quite successful. And we had a lot of rewards and knowledge, know-how, and I was very excited by the leverage and the potentiality that there was behind this franchising model. Then I have been using this discover along the path with all my career, and having also the opportunity of an American degree from a very prestigious university like Berkeley, I've used this in order to buy master franchising license with the famous large American corporation that they want to develop their brands in Italy, because this my pedigree with this Berkeley degree and with this first experience with my friend was a very good asset to spend.
Okay, so then you moved towards the restoration industry and set up this concept together with some partners that headed to the Fratelli La Bufala? Or?
No, let's say the story is this. I've done my first part of career buying license of international brands and developing in Italy. And this was quite interesting and successful. Then, along the path, when there was a crisis related with the 9/11 big disaster in 2001, I had to close without losing too much money my network in travel business, and I start to do a little bit of consulting, and then I come across this strong brand, Fratelli La Bufala, and I was excited by the idea to do the path the other way around, so to bring an Italian brand around the world, while I've done before. And this is very interesting, very exciting, because I keep emotion, value, tradition, culture of my country, and they can develop around the world. So there is also an ethical motivation behind this.
When was the startup of Fratelli La Bufala?
Fratelli La Bufala started around 2003, 2004, and it was a different story because it's people that is always involved in the business, not like me that I develop, I'm on the business, and they were people that were really working and developing restaurant directly, and this was such a success story that they naturally come to the trend, to the need to do franchising. They had the potential because a strong USP all related to the buffalo, so the horns, the name, and also the dish all recall the buffalo. So there is a strong potentiality by chance. And this was requested by the market, the franchising, because they start to develop the first 20, 25 restaurants company owned, but then they could not grow more. And then I come to the picture shortly after, because they recognize in me, and I am Napolitan, so they knew my name. So they say, this guy can make the difference, perhaps in our process to industrialize and to develop the project abroad.
So can you introduce shortly the Fratelli La Bufala format? How many restaurants do you have? What's
the numbers? It's now, you know, we are fast growing. Let's say every month we open 2 new restaurants. Sometimes we close some of them. This is the story. And we are strengthened. We are putting more force in the network to make more stable. But really now our next goal is to become very international. We have great openings in New York, in London, in Berlin soon. Meanwhile, we have in Italy like 100 restaurants, and we need to build other 100 restaurants to cover all the market. But this is ordinary effort, let's say, even if it's a big effort, but it's ordinary. The big challenge, the big opportunity, the big game that we want to play is to make other 900 restaurants all over the world. And this is a big, very exciting goal.
So you are at the beginning of this internationalization process. What are the main criteria you choose both for selecting countries and location within countries?
Let's say that nowadays, and I think perhaps always, you cannot pretend to choose exactly where you are going to open next. Because if I find I'm focused in England, I find a fantastic prospect from France, I will open France. Having said that, the criteria is that there are different parts of the world, I believe. One, it's the Anglo-Saxon world, let's say America, let's say Canada, North Europe, and where we can use the franchising model in a commercial way, so to sign contract to third parties that we can control, and we even open company-owned store because it's easy to measure, to control. The other is East Europe, and then there is China, India, new market growing. There we need local partner because the system is not so reliable, not so easy to measure, to control for us. So it will be more partnership, because these people, they need to see that it works, and before they invest the money, they want to see you involved. So you have to do a tailor-made project, and you have to build a relationship where you give services and know-how, and they put money and knowledge of the market, and then you build a path.
I understand you have developed some indicators to figure out what are the most interesting markets to develop. Can you just give us some ideas on the way you assess that?
We pretend to have an idea to measure the market, but it's so difficult. Also, one issue is really the timing, and I'm not in charge of this. My president is very sensitive, has a strong intuition. He says that there are moments when you go with your Napolitan pizza in New York, if you would have gone 10 years ago, would have been a disaster. Now everyone wants that. So the timing when a certain market is ready to taste this food, it's a very important issue, but you cannot put a formula on this. Sure. On the other side, I think that what the model that we have to use is more a multi-unit model. So local investors, that they can cover an area of 6 to 10 restaurants where they have economy of scale, synergy. They can have different positioning like mall, city center, office center, so that you have different involvement of the resource, and you can optimize, and you can do marketing strategy, and you can centralize the logistic. I think this is the model is more used for all the service franchising system. Distribution is different.
You use both the multi-franchising format and the multi-unit format. Can you please tell us why you decide to opt for one or the other?
Well, the master franchising model, it's you cannot do when you have a small territory. You need to have at least 50 sub-franchisee. Otherwise, the franchisor don't survive. The economic is anti-economical. So in the big countries, you can do this. But you need a big entrepreneur, and there is high risk that the double transfer of know-how and it's different business to run a store or to run a network. It's completely different business. So there is a lot of risk. If you find a very smart, very rich, very committed, you are going to do. Otherwise, it's much better to find medium-sized entrepreneurs that are able to develop, for example, Paris, London, New York, Berlin, and to build a small network. And then from Paris, you open Marseille, or you open French Riviera with a different entrepreneur, or perhaps the same entrepreneur with a different partner.
Okay. You have also other formats within your company that you have developed. Can you please explain a bit the characteristic of each of them and the way you want to develop them over time?
Well, we have 4 brands that we have developed, plus we have a master franchise agreement for a 5th brand. 3 brands are in the casual dining. This is Fratelli La Bufala, Mamma Oliva, and Vulcania. And this is all pizzeria. A little bit one is a little bit more upper scale, and the other, this is Mamma Oliva, and the other, it's Vulcania. It's more for young. It's a little bit economically more convenient, where we have also the roast chicken and different things. These are anyway the typical Italian casual dining restaurant. So the pizza is a key point, but you can eat pizza, pasta, you can eat meat, second dish, and you can eat cake. So all the full menu. It's a full restaurant. And the other brand developed by us, it's More Comfort Cafe, that has been it's a cafe. It's a new style of cafe, like it's already developed in other countries, like you can see Le Pain Quotidien or Starbucks. They are models where there is small an atmosphere, and there is big tables, there is an attitude, relaxed, where you can enjoy, you can even listen music, read the newspaper, you can go for brunch, for lunch, or someone can have lunch and the kids have the the cake, so it's very informal. It's a department store, it's the perfect fit. And it started with an agreement with the Gruppo Coin when they developed the Upim Pop project. And we believe this is also a good potential because in this segment now there are only international players but not Italian players. And I think the Italian cafe is very successful, so there is a side opportunity for this. The fifth brand, it's a brand that we bought on a master license agreement from the Chiquita Corporation. It's a Chiquita fruit bar. These are kiosks to do shake of fruit, fruit salad, smoothies, and all the products related with fruit, freshness and healthy food.
How do you see your opportunity of growth more internally on the domestic market or internationally in the coming years?
I think internationally it's the real game that we have to play. Perhaps on the next few years the revenue will come from our direct and our franchise in Italy because and on the international market we have to invest resource and time, but on the long term the big numbers and the goal of the company would be to develop the international market because international market is a great potential.
Okay, we wish you all the best. Thank you for coming and for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for the coffee. Yes, I hope it's not cold.